Hey guys, GhazzyTV here with another Path of Exile video. In this one we're going to be talking a little bit about the tool-assisted Pantheon mod farming.
Holy shit! Wow!
And the fact that we have so many subscribers. It's absolutely insane. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more content, but do watch it till the end because we're going to check if you enjoy it first. After talking a little bit about this, I will actually tackle a statement made by Chris Wilson on Reddit, which has to do with the perception, and that is something that I value a lot more than what most people give it credit for. But let's just go into the video and tackle it to not prolong this, extend this video too much. Essentially, they're talking about the way people were pulling requests with a third-party tool to see if there was an actual Pantheon, or sorry, the actual Archnemesis modifier on the actual map. Now, their countermeasures for this made it so that the client would always preload and pull a request to preload one of these. So you created a lot of false positives, which meant that people would run the maps and then basically confirm that, hey, it's gonna have one of those, but it might not be the one you're looking for. And for people juicing the maps up, this wasn't really worth it. It would be very marginal value to it, and because of that, it wasn't really worth bothering. They also hotfixed another way so that it wouldn't be possible at all. Now, okay, I'm fine with this. I didn't really feel, after looking into it when people were screaming about it, I didn't feel that this was something that was an actual problem. And because of that, I'm not really going to bitch and moan about it. I think it was fine. The solutions they've had when it comes to this specific approach, in my opinion, is all right. My problem with the way they've changed the loot has basically been in a situation where they're turning it into D3 loot goblins, right? So that's basically my biggest problem with it. It's just turning into a bunch of loot goblins where you're supposed to get these big explosions of loot, right? And that's basically how I feel about it. But yeah, I mean, like this whole approach with the pulling the request, essentially what's happening is that if there was one on it, it would pull a request and it would be the one preloaded, but it created a lot of false positives, which they're outlining in this post. Either way, I still think it's fine. I haven't really noticed any issues with it, and not to mention that they are looking into people that might have utilized or try to abuse this, and those people will get banned when they find out, right? So, okay, it's fine. I don't think this has made much of an impact. What has made a lot of impact, though, is the perception of loot. I talked about this several times over, and the perception of loot matters more than the actual numerical value. And I know, I talked about this in an earlier video, that even if it's on paper, is exactly what they're saying. That it's better on average that we're unaffected, or that it's better for the low-end players or the casual players or non-juicers, non-party players. It doesn't matter if it's better on paper when the feeling and the perception in the community is saying that it is terrible. Because perception matters for our enjoyment of the actual game. That's the biggest problem I see with this. So, I don't like the fact that the most valuable loot you get when you're farming maps is coming from winning the lottery ticket by getting the perfect set of modifiers, right? And by having that, you then need to call in a color that will come in and cull the monster for you. That's what people are doing on TFT. They're selling culling services. People with Magify would come in and kill that rare for you, so you could, which you pay a service for, and you get tons of loot from that because you stopped what you were doing, used a third-party site to have someone come in with a Magifying gear to kill it for you, so that you would get decent loot from it without having a full party and all of those things. Maybe you could do that as well, but without juicing the map too much, right? Because that might not be what you were doing. And that is a terrible way to make up for loot drops compared to the juicers, right? It is terrible, 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 terrible. And this just keeps pushing. The perception of this just gets worse and worse. And that's the problem people are complaining about. So when Chris Wilson then has had a note here when someone is mentioning all of this, and he then says, I'm just going to reply to this comment because I need to take a break from this, but I've seen this sentiment a few times and I wanted to address it. And I was like, yo, oh, great. That seems like a good idea. Then I saw that it's minus 882 votes on him. And I was like, oh no, they're gonna double down on this shit. And, you know, ergo, or quote, please reread the post we made yesterday. He's referring to the what happened to loot post. It clarifies the drops for average players are where they were before. You'll find 25% more currency from regular content than you did before the expansion deployed, for example. You find more than 50% more unique items from regular content! Exclamation mark. There is no winning the lottery needed. This is a misconception that is causing a lot of damage, and I don't know where it came from. The whole point of all this was to tone down the lottery wins to not be a 50k unique items and not be more appropriate. Oh, sorry, and to be more appropriate. So the very few elite people took a hit, but they're still doing fine, and everyone else benefited. Somehow it created a perception that we did the exact opposite. When a solo player encounters these touched monsters, Archnemesis monsters, that converts to currency or whatever value that we have, it is straight up better for us to stop what we're doing, contact the magic find color, have that person in to kill the guy for you to get the value out of it. That has nothing to do with a perception. That has to do with that part of the game is terrible, and it's been created and emphasized by our perception of the previous changes that is happening as well. It's just god awful. And the perception is, like I said before, I understand that we have a situation where we've been very spoiled with tons of loot, especially from the Sentinel League, and then coming into this nerfed state, right? That is not a good feeling. But now the perception from people is that the big loot is coming from very specific Archnemesis modifiers and monsters and the combination of those. And when I get a currency converting Archnemesis guy, I end up sitting with, I get a chaos, maybe I get a couple chaos. I don't see no divine orbs. Let me see how many monsters I killed. I'm level 93. I've died a bunch of this character because of minion survivability, but let's look at kills. I've killed 340,000 monsters this league. Got a bit of currency made from profit crafting, yada yada. My money in drops, 1 divine orb. 1 divine orb. That's it. I don't think I even got it from an Archnemesis monster either. And I'm being told that I don't have to win the lottery. But you see groups that are, or solo players, that are paying a magic find color to come in. They stop what they're doing abruptly. Have a magic find color come in to kill that rare so they can get more currency. This is supposed to be an ARPG game where we kill a lot of monsters and we get loot for killing a lot of monsters. I don't want to feel that I have to chase down loot goblins from Diablo that have somehow took the boat over, which we still want from 3.20 by the way, and they took the boat over from Diablo to Ray class to invade us. We don't want that. We don't want loot goblins. We want to have loot from performing and killing monsters, not specific combinations. That's, I think, is the biggest problem. And that is generating this perception that it is a terrible feeling. And when that is exacerbating the entire approach of drops, making it so that the people that do call people in to help them abruptly stopping their gameplay, excessively getting loot from that, or in the other stages where perspectives of people going with groups and having that approach as well. They get very little compared to before till that one guy shows up, bam, they get multiple mirrors, which Chris Wilson stated himself. Oh, bam, they get more than 50 divine orbs from one kill that pays for so many maps that they can juice up for. Even Empyrean's group was making like nothing. This was before the loot changes though. They were barely making anything. And are they supposed to make almost nothing or make a very limited amount of profit to the point where they randomly encounter this big juicy guy and boom, there's your money. You now got 10 mirrors. How is that not winning the lottery? It's even winning the lottery for the big groups. The biggest money they'll make is when they drop 15 plus apothecary cards. They're winning the lottery when they drop 50 to 80, 100 divine orbs from one unit. Needless to say, I am not a fan of this. And I've voiced my concerns about this multiple times over. I just wanted to elaborate as to where this perception is coming from, because it doesn't seem that GGD or Chris Wilson has understood where this perception is coming from. Because he created a perception that we did the exact opposite. And from my personal perspective, I'm extra salty about it because of the way minions are. Minions were told, I was told several times over that the lower end was hurt by the changes, and the medium and higher end was benefiting from the changes. But when I played the game, the exact opposite is exactly what happened, which is also what I told them that the information told me before the launch. Low end has never been better. Medium and high end has never been worse. Yeah, I don't know what to say. If you liked the video or if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. I'm very appreciated if you did subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have like 35% subscribers that are watching. So that means like, what, 65% of you guys are not subbed. So I do appreciate if you hit that sub button. It does help the channel out a lot. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. So till then, stay safe. Keep rocking.